And then it's the three-guard offense of Deron Williams and their leading scorer, D. Brown. Coached by Bruce Weber. And Tubby, check that Bob Huggins Cincinnati Bearcats feature Kirkland, Maxiel, the leading scorer, Johnson. Watch out for Field Williams. He can light it up from outside, and James White, a 6'7" point guard. With the whistles, Messrs. Slopes, Hillary, and Driscoll were underway in Columbus, Ohio. In the orange, the Illini, Cincinnati wearing the whites. Cincinnati and Illinois have split the only two times they played. The last time 20 years ago.
Now, Nick, Illinois relies heavily on their guard play. Head, Brown, and Deron Williams, they all kind of move around on the outside and try to get a little dribble penetration and kick out for jump shots.
Down to 8 on the shot clock on the first possession. Head is well off the mark. Rebounded easily by James White. The contrast here is evident. Illinois likes to score. Cincinnati, one of the stingiest teams in the nation, number 5, in fact, in field goal percentage allowed, only 38%. Field Williams, Maxiel from 15, and Cincinnati's on the board first. Our leading scorer on the season, Maxiel, 13.5 a game.
Jason Maxiel does most of his damage around the basket. A tough physical force down low, but can step outside and knock down that 15, 16-footer on occasion.
Roger Powell inside to tie it up for the Illini. Powell, a junior from Joliet, he's 6'6". Luther Head, Hawking Jones, and the White in the backcourt.
That's going to be critical for Cincinnati, handling this kind of pressure. They don't really have what you might call a true point guard out there. They use James White and Army Kirkland, both basically small forwards.
Bob Huggins sees Luther Head pick up his first foul. Players call him Hugs. White misses, and here's D. Brown, one of the fastest guards in the country. And now the motion offense. Brown along the baseline. It rattles out. Augustine trying to keep it alive, but Field Williams over to collect for Cincinnati.
And pressure by D. Brown, just trying to disrupt Cincinnati, who has become much more of a deliberate half-court team since the middle of the season.
Maxiel, good ball fake, and Maxiel slams in a 4-2 lead.
You're not going to see the Illinois defense open up the gate that much too often, but Maxiel flashing to the middle, just had wide open spaces, had no problem shedding James Augustine.
Deron Williams back outside to Brown. Brown has 21 in the Murray State win. Augustine, good job collecting the offensive board. Bruce Weber counted that as one of the critical aspects of this game, that they need to stay with the Bearcats on the rebound. Deron Williams from downtown.
We mentioned lots of draw and kicks for Illinois to get jump shots in the half court, and also a lot of random pick and rolls, which are difficult to defend.
Kareem Johnson takes it inside and draws the foul.
Jason Maxiel off to a terrific start. Boy, a little eyebrow fake. And James Augustine, wired for this one, just takes himself out of the play. And Jason Maxiel, and he makes no mistake about it when he takes it hard to the hoop.
Johnson at the line. Roger Powell committed the foul for Illinois. The game is tied at 5 by Johnson, the 6'7" senior. Early substitution. Nick Smith comes in for Illinois, replacing Augustine.
So much was made of the Cincinnati intimidation factor. Bruce Weber talking to his team about saying, hey, we got to play our game first of all, but on the other hand, we cannot be bullied by this Cincinnati team, who does it quite a bit. In fact, there was some a little bit of trash talking the other day.
Weber saw him with the Salukis of Southern Illinois in the tournament the last couple of years. His initial season at Champaign-Urbana. Powell raises and hits the 17-foot jumper, and this lead changing like a hot potato, back and forth. Now it's the Illini 7-6. Kirkland Hawks finally gets away from Williams, and that was Smith who batted it away down court to Luther Head. He scores, no whistle. First time a team is led by 3.
This is pretty much what Bob Huggins expected. The fact that Illinois with a pressure defense forcing Cincinnati farther out on the floor than they normally start their offense. And then transition defense after a turnover or missed shot becomes critical for the Bearcats.
And the turnover as James White couldn't save it. See how well spread this Illinois offense is. Smith takes his first shot. It's a little shy. Now trailing 9-6 here are the Bearcats.
Not wasting any time at all. Not giving Roger Powell any chance to get to the offensive rebound.
Maxfield. Smith doesn't go for the fake. And Kirkland unable to hit the 10-foot baseline jumper. 2-on-1. Brown to Williams, and they beat the Bearcats down court and enjoy a 5-point lead.
They can't execute the break any better than that. Nick Smith's outlet, who's what started it all off, a deep one out to almost midcourt. No way transition defense can get back.
And Brown picks it from field. Williams scores! An 8-0 run by the Illini. Oh, my! Let's go to Leslie Visser.
Thanks, Dick. You heard Matt talking a little earlier about the trash-talking factor of Cincinnati. They are, as you know, one of the more vocal teams in the tournament. Well, no less than D. Brown told me we don't get to do this in the Big Ten, but I am from the west side of Chicago, and I can handle this. Dick?
Thank you, Leslie. Apparently, when Illinois left after winning in round 1, Cincinnati was coming on the court, and they were letting the Illini know already that they're in trouble today. So they started 2 days ago. Well short on his shot is Tony Bobbitt, the best sixth man in the Midwest. He won it for the Bearcats against East Tennessee State on Friday with that jumper from the corner in the final seconds. McBride is in for the first time for Illinois.
Illinois very patient in their motion game, and D. Brown and Deron Williams both can take the point guard responsibilities, and they have really adjusted nicely as this season has worn on. Sometimes that can be a difficult proposition, but not for these two sophomores.
Nick Smith unable to score. 3.5 minutes without a field goal for Cincinnati. 8 straight points for the Illini. Eric Hicks trying to change that, gets his own rebound and scores. Off the bench, Eric Hicks, the sophomore from Greensboro, North Carolina.
Well, Nick Smith was giving so much ground to Eric Hicks. Well, embarrassed by the opening there, decided to put it on the floor. It gets a lot done for a guy who doesn't shoot well.
Beautiful block by Matt Seal, who had 5 against East Tennessee State.
Brown thought that was a goaltend there. Thought he had released it in time. Well aware of Maxfield's shot blocking ability.
Hicks unable to come up with a bank shot, and Maxiel diving for the ball. Foot skidded out of bounds to Illinois. And with that, Atlanta Regional. The Queen City of Cincinnati already celebrating. One team into the Sweet 16. Xavier defeating Mississippi State, the upset, 15-point upset, 89-74 earlier. Maxiel 2 for 2. The rest of the Bearcats contributing only 1 for 6, and that one came from Eric Hicks off the bench. And Cincinnati does have one of the outstanding benches in the nation. 40 points of the 80 scored against East Tennessee State were bench players.
After that last timeout, Bob Huggins brought in Nick Williams, who's really a shooting guard, but going to try to use him at the point to see if he can get better ball handling.
Nice move by James Augustine, the tallest Illini at 6'10".
All kinds of things open up inside with Jason Maxiel on the bench, getting a breather for Cincinnati.
McBride with a foul.
As James Augustine just flashing across that lane, catching the defender right on his back. A little bit difficult, more difficult in guarding that. pretty clever around the basket.
Third team foul on Illinois, none yet against Cincinnati. Whaley comes in for the first time. Robert Whaley, who well chronicled, quit the team for about a month and then has returned and warmly received. Tony Bobbitt, doesn't take him long to get in the book. He said he's quite comfortable. Well, check that. Robert Whaley, who gets the goal.
Well, with Bobbitt out on the floor and his three-point threat, if they get the ball to him on the wings and in the corners, he can get the ball inside to whether Maxiel or Whaley or any big player for the Bearcats.
Roger Powell is on the mark. 17-10 Illinois. It's interesting so far. Cincinnati comes into the offensive end. Matt Gucas said they love the three-point shot. They jacked up 32 of those the other night, but they haven't really been able to find anyone open thus far.
Well, that's because the defense of Illinois, they're getting up into them, forcing them out.
Luther Head on the turnover.
And until Cincinnati gets a little bit of a draw and kick game or something into the low post and inside out, they will get good looks at the three.
Deron Williams cans the three, and Illinois doubles the score. And they're using the defense and turnovers. That's usually the Bearcats game. 4-0, the turnover total.
Well, this Illinois defense in the half court is very, very tough. And they're just always pressuring your dribble, pressuring your pass, and you can't get into any offense easily.
Whaley misses the jumper. Deron Williams brings it back. Nick Williams in the Cincinnati lineup for the first time. Number 5 chasing Deron Williams. The pass to Augustine. He scores and he's fouled.
This is what Deron Williams does so well. Big and strong at 6'3", turning the corner there, just getting enough dribble penetration to get the defense to collapse. And James Augustine, he works pick and rolls very nicely, slides to open areas, and has shown the strong finish. Off to a fabulous start here. And he was able to do a lot of talking yesterday about whether or not a Big Ten team like Illinois could stand up to the muscle and strength of Cincinnati. Say, hey, we are the Big Ten. We're supposed to handle this all the time.
Augustine completes the three-point play on the foul by Robert Whaley. So high marks for the Illini offense.
And Illinois outscored Cincinnati 7-2 since Bob Huggins took Jason Maxiel out for a breather. Has to get Maxiel back in there, and he has. And they got to establish some kind of an inside game so they can go inside out and start getting their three-point game alive.
You see Tony Bobbitt, an outstanding three-point shooter, hanging on the far side, but a foul underneath against the Bearcats. And it appears to be Whaley who used an illegal pick. Follow the game on CBS Sports Line's Game Center and get more than just the game. Get play-by-play coverage as it happens without having to refresh the page. Check it out, cbssportsline.com. Second foul on Robert Whaley. Inside, and Augustine wide open, and the Illini chewing up this tough Cincinnati defense.
Robert Whaley just came back. He went out late February, came back, played his first game the other night, and he just fell asleep defensively with Augustine moving nicely off the ball.
Boy, under good defensive pressure. Look at Bobbitt hit that three. He hit 5 of them in the win the other night for his total of 15 points. Illinois on a run that pleases Coach Bruce Weber. 5 straight attempts have been made by the men in orange. Randall in for the first time. Brian Randall, the freshman from Peoria. He's wearing number 42, down to 7 seconds on the shot clock. Now the 3. Head with 2, forces it up and hits at the buzzer. Those are almost worth more than 2 in terms of demoralizing all the defensive effort, and then the last second, Illinois hits.
No question, Dick, it's disheartening, but an alert play by Luther Head. Knew exactly what he had left. In fact, released that shot off the wrong foot.
Randall a little too close in his defense. Picks up foul number 1.
Oh, look at James Augustine and Robert Whaley here. And Whaley going to get caught on a back screen. No help. And Whaley doesn't even fight over the screen as James Augustine working nicely from the weak side. Getting off to a fabulous start here offensively.
9:06 left in this opening half. Big Ten, University of Illinois leading by 14 over Conference USA. One of 6 reps in the NCAA tournament. Maxiel misses, and 6'3" guard Deron Williams brings it in. Williams for 3. Wow, are they hot? 17-point lead for Illinois.
What a combination. D. Brown and Deron Williams just taking turns. One time, one running the point, the other off the ball. Just playing beautiful basketball, Nick, but it all starts at the defensive end. They are putting the pressure. Going forwards, James White, Armin Kirkland, even Nick Williams. But as offensive players, they're playing defensively. The Illinois defenders are getting them to turn their shoulder, turn their back, so they can't even attack, and that's what they got to do. They got to attack that first line of the defense and get at least below free throw line extended.
7 shots in a row made by Illinois against this highly ranked defense nationally.
Still haven't broken that free throw line extended on this possession.
Down to 8 seconds on the shot clock. Kirkland off. And he draws the foul before the shot. And the only good news for Bearcat fans is the foul total. Illinois now committing 5, only 2 by Cincinnati.
Just in total control of this game right now.
And Deron Williams protects the ball so well in the last 6 games, and we're talking about tournament and pressure games. His turnover assist ratio nearly 7. He's only committed 6 turnovers in the last 6 games. None the other night.
Look where Nick Williams is trying to start offense. Tight-roping the midcourt strike.
Kirkland has size advantage on Brown, so he goes up with a shot, and there it is.
Well, Cincinnati will get good shots if they can get the ball down on the wing, get the ball inside, put a little pressure on the interior of Illinois. But Dick, you know, you couple that kind of efficiency, the assist turnover of both of those guards, Steve Brown and Deron Williams, plus tough defense, you're going to win a lot of games and could go far in this tournament.
So far in this game, 8 assists for the Illini, no turnovers. Approaching the 7-minute mark with ball movement, down to 8 seconds. And Augustine hesitating, and as he did so, shuffled his feet.
It looked like James Augustine pretty much had his mind made up when he flashed to that free throw line area. He was going to look low for Roger Powell, but he was covered and didn't get his feet under. But he gets happy feet from time to time. Just the first miscue.
13 minutes into the game.
And Bruce Weber's very upset.
Stomp your feet over there, coach. Bobbitt for the bank, not there. Hicks rips down the rebound as he takes it away from Brown, and then Augustine gets it away from Maxiel. Oh, Powell open down court, and Bobbitt fouled him. First on him. 2 shots for the Illini, and a reminder for you, tonight on CBS, when Americans are taken hostage, they turn to this man to rescue them. Academy Award winner Russell Crowe, along with Meg Ryan and David Caruso, star in the network premiere of Proof of Life. That's tonight on CBS, America's most watched network. So the usual fare on Sunday night after all the basketball, then 60 Minutes, at 9 o'clock, a terrific movie as well. Kareem Johnson returns to the Cincinnati lineup. Roger Powell makes the first.
He had some foul problems throughout that first-round game against Murray State. It's so important to Illinois in that he can go inside and play a little bit of a power game. And he's already shown in this game that he can take a big forward away from the basket and knock down that jumper.
8 points for Powell, averaging 11 on the season. Williams off to Johnson. Reach in by Augustine, and could be Powell. They had him sandwiched. The basket is good. Augustine gets the foul, and it is his first.
Obviously, Bob Huggins during these timeouts imploring his team to play with some confidence, attack the defenders, put the ball on the floor, get into the lane, or pass the ball into the lane. And even if we don't get the first field goal, we'll get a good shot at a second shot opportunity.
Johnson unable to convert the three-point play. Lots of double screens away from the ball in this motion offense of Illinois. There's Williams open for three. What a hot hand. Deron Williams, averaging 13.6 on the season, has 14 in the first 14 minutes today.
And a big reason why the three-point shooters, and it's really been Deron Williams getting open, is the quick swing of the ball. Nobody holding it.
Tony Bobbitt connects for the Bearcats. He has 4. 4 for 6 for the Illini outside the line. Cincinnati managing only 2 shots from three-point range. They get it to Williams for another 3. Money in the bank from Deron Williams. A sensational half. 17 points.
No doubt he's in rhythm right now, but also credit D. Brown making that pass so quickly, catching Deron Williams with his feet set.
But he got a little too frisky back on defense, and Deron Williams, a careless foul, has 2. And we'll see if Bruce Weber has to take his hottest hand off the court. Yes, as Rich McBride returns. And that is also the 7th team foul on the Illini, and 1-1 for Kirkland. Pulled down was Smith of Illinois, and we'll see on whom they call the foul. Kareem Johnson gets the foul as first.
Deron Williams doing it from all over the floor. 6 for 6 from the field. 5 for 5 from downtown. There was that pass from D. Brown. Snapping it off now with Deron Williams out of the game. D. Brown now has to do a little bit more. Not only make the passes, he's got to look to be more of a scorer right now.
Deron Williams, who scored only 8 in the first game of the tournament, and just making up for it in a hurry today.
But he did have 8 assists in game number 1.
Smith to McBride. And the cross court to D. Brown. Look at that flash to the basket in the left hand by the 6-footer, D. Brown. He has 4. 40-19 Illinois. A shocking score here in Columbus. Kirkland can't hit. Tip is not there, but Bearcats will get another chance. Bobbitt from the line is short. 5 attempts by Cincinnati. No basket, but the foul called against Illinois.
Cincinnati is just having a difficult time on catching up with swing of the ball. That time cross court from one corner to the other, and the defense never reacts as D. Brown gets by the initial defender, and the big people inside for Cincinnati not stepping in and either taking the charge or swatting that out of there.
Nick Smith, a foul, his first. Max Seal misses the free throw, looking for his 5th point. Voted by his teammates as the most valuable player this year. 72% Illinois. I mean, we're not talking about
the little sisters of the poor on defense
at all.
But good ball movement will make good defense look very poor.
Seal gets 1 out of 2. It's 40-20 Illinois. Now a little backcourt pressure from the Bearcats. Smith gets it to Brown. Watch out now. Foul. And a reach-in foul. It appeared to be Field Williams who tried to slap it away. It's his first foul.
You're right, Dick. Watch out now. You open up the floor for D. Brown, who not only is quick and fast, not Tim Smith fast, but pretty close, and it's a harness speed, but D. Brown in the open floor, very creative for himself or for a teammate.
Speaking of Tim Smith, East Tennessee State, Huggins said he is the fastest in 25 years that he's ever coached against. Powell has it rejected.
Kareem Johnson up there to swat that out of there.
Some of the Illinois fans wanted goaltending. Bobbitt, here's their three-point shooter, and he gets his first open look and delivers. Field Williams, first points of the game. one of the best in the nation. In fact, he's number 14 in three-point percentage, over 43%. And the call is for traveling as the double-team defense turns it over, and Cincinnati, a rare chance to cut into that Illinois lead. Singular trivia challenge, all coming up on Singular at the half. Rare turnover committed by Illinois. Cincinnati trying to take advantage. Maxiel and Bobbitt lead the Bearcats with 5. Deron Williams on the bench with 17. Tops for the Illini, and a turnover the other way.
And James White, just playing so passively, stood way out at the hash mark there, trying to make that bounce pass instead of improving his position down the sideline a little bit more.
What bothered you most when you were coaching, the bad pass or the bad shot? Probably the bad pass, because you never took a bad shot.
Well, no, again, some bad passes are forgivable. It's the careless pass is the one that will annoy you. Bad shot depends who's taking it. Some of your
If you're a bad shooter, any shot really could be a bad shot.
If it's a scorer, you've got to live with some bad shots from your scorers.
Top scorer for Illinois on the bench, down to 7 seconds. Brown. Oh, not an easy shot. Had a hand in his face, floating a bit to his left. He has 7 points.
Brown is just playing with so much confidence right now. Got off to a rocky start this season. Wasn't really sure in the beginning if he wanted to stay at Illinois after Bill Self left for Kansas. Once he settled in, improved the mechanics on his shot, he's playing beautifully.
Williams inside, doesn't get the roll. Maxiel able to fight for that offensive rebound and put it back. 7 for him.
So Bruce Weber was concerned most about coming into this game, the fact that Cincinnati would just get the ball up on the glass, on the rim, and then just pound you up per second shots.
24 to go from the corner. Oh, everybody in the act. Rich McBride nails a 3. 7 for 9 from long range for the Illini. They match their biggest lead. Bobbitt not there. Brown up high to pull it down, and look at him fly into the offensive end. McBride back to back. Why not? Oh, a shooting gallery here for Illinois.
And Brown is jumping up and down. He's about to jump out of his skin or his uniform or both. He is just having a ball with the way that Illinois is playing basketball.
Well, Tony Bobbitt says that's my spot. In fact, if you were with us on Friday night, that's exactly where he hit the three-pointer that won the game against East Tennessee State.
He is so much better on the catch and shoot rather than try to do it himself off the dribble. Cincinnati going to their zone now, Dick, something that they had to go to because of foul problems the other night to Maxiel and Bobbitt, and it was reasonably effective for them against East Tennessee State.
And Huggins admits he dislikes, if not abhors, using the zone, but he says sometimes. Bomber from Ball State, David Letterman, all new late show on Monday night with, get this, the one and only Tom Hanks, plus music from NERD, and an all-new Top 10. That's Monday here on CBS. NERD. Sounds like my kind of music. Illinois has made 7 three-pointers in a row.
73%, Dick. It would be hard to shoot that if there were no other players on the other team out on the floor.
Just running your 5-man offense against.
And I'm sure Bob Huggins is going to tell that to his players at halftime.
Brown misses that one, and the rebound comes down to James White. White quickly to Field Williams, and he drills the 3. Williams with 6 on 2 3-pointers made. Final minute.
Cincinnati starting to gamble a little bit out of that zone defense, trying to trap, trying to just get something going. Not so much Illinois out of the room, but get themselves going, because they've been forced to be so lethargic going to their offensive end due to the pressure of Illinois.
About 16-second difference between the shot and game clock, down to 8 on the shot clock. They leave McBride open for 3, and they yank that one. Here come the Bearcats, 17 seconds, 2-on-1, 3-on-1. Maxiel dumps it off. And the basket by Field Williams with 10 seconds. Illinois will hurry it with D. Brown. Plenty of time. Not there, and that's how the first half will end. 49-33. Illinois at one point led by 24, but an 8-0 run by the Bearcats gives them something positive to chew on at the. And welcome back to the Nationwide Arena in Columbus, Ohio. Second round action, and Illinois torrid shooting 49-33 over the Bearcats of Cincinnati. Bob Huggins with Leslie Visser.
Coach, you knew their guards were explosive. What did you tell your team at halftime, and what is most significant for you in the second half?
Well, they've made every shot. I mean, they've played great, and we've got to go play great the second half.
What specifically? What must you do besides play great?
Well, we got to guard them a little better, and then we got to make some shots.
We'll look for it. Thanks, Coach.
Oh, boy, the old coach speak. Guard them better and make some shots. Oh, right. Now you know what they're going to do. Look at the statistics.
Well, 19 for 29 for the Fighting Illini, just moving the basketball beautifully, and the three-point shooting, Deron Williams doing most of that damage. 5 for 5 from beyond the arc, and fast break basketball right up Illinois' alley, right from their defense. And Jason McNeil got off to a hot start for Cincinnati. His first two touches, scored the ball, and then didn't touch it really much the rest of the half, and spent some time on the bench as Bobby Huggins, I think, was trying to rest him. He's got to get him the ball here in the second half.
See, 49 points, the most scored by Illinois in a half this year, and 49 the most given up by Cincinnati in the first half all season. But that's 10 straight points now for the Bearcats, who are down by 24 with 2 minutes to go in the first half, and now 10 unanswered.
And right inside to Jason McNeil, and that will cause problems for Illinois' defense if they can consistently get the ball in cleanly to him. He can either score or get fouled or draw defense and kick out the open shooters.
Right through the hands of Augustine. Baba dives for it, and it was last touched by the Bearcats.
Jason McNeil off the ball. Look where he catches. Actually had 1 foot in the paint. Pushed out a little bit by Roger Powell, but really McNeil at 6'7", 6'8", is bigger and stronger than Powell.
There's Powell rejected. It's Kareem Johnson with his second block. Now the Bearcats snarling here. 10 straight points, and that's got their fans on their collective feet across the way. Deron Williams, who is red hot with leading all scores with 17, and he missed the last 7 minutes with 2 fouls. He, of course, starts the second half, and that's Williams with the ball. 5 for 5 from three-point range.
Terrific defense by Luther Head that time, pressuring James White, and in effect the point guard for Cincinnati, and he's just not good enough off the bounce to get in there and create havoc.
Williams hasn't lost his touch. His first shot goes down. 19 for Deron Williams.
Well, while he was on the floor in the first half, the Illinois Fighting Illini doubled up Cincinnati 38-19 while he was on the bench with 2 personal fouls. Illinois outscored 14-11, so it would be wise for Cincinnati to try to get him another foul.
Inside to McNeil, power move, draws the foul. We're looking at Augustine, his second. Regular season on the left, and the first half statistics for the Illini, an indication how wonderfully, if you're an Illinois fan, they were out of character.
As Bruce Weber told Leslie Visser going out at halftime, he said everything looks good when you're making shots. Even when the defense picks up, everybody's having fun out there, everybody's into it. Now if you start missing some of those threes or don't play as good a defense, and that's why it's so important for Illinois to keep getting up into Cincinnati, make it tough for them to get into their offense.
McNeil leading the Bearcats now with 11 points. A 14-point advantage, Illinois. Big Ten champion against the Conference USA co-champion. And Augustine double team does get it away to Deron Williams. D. Brown left alone. He gets the bounce off the rim, off the window, down the hole.
This Terrific job by Augustine to get it out of trouble deep in that corner, and then Deron Williams finding D. Brown with not the best pass in the world, but D. Brown adjusted nicely.
Drive by White, and the 10-footer short. Luther head, dishes out to Brown. Brown to Williams, and he goes down hard with a foul.
There's James Augustine deep in that corner and bailed out nicely by Deron Williams, who hollered for the ball along the baseline. I don't think Augustine could have gotten it out of that deep corner than on the other place, but how about the way D. Brown, that low one off the shoe tops, and still able to get his feet and shot under him.
Williams fouled Williams. You see White go out. Field Williams with his second foul, sending Deron to the line, looking for his 20th point. His career high is 31.
Makes Armin Kirkland at 6'7", the point guard, getting right to the basket.
Nicely done, end-to-end for Armin, who has his 4th point of the game.
I think he surprised Luther Head, thinking that Kirkland would pick up his dribble, as the Cincinnati backcourt men have been doing throughout this game.
3 minutes into the second half here in Columbus. University of Illinois leading University of Cincinnati 55-39. And Augustine double team. Kirkland had him tied up, but no whistle. Down to 5. 3 on the shot clock. Williams to 3. First time he's missed outside the arc. Augustine saves for the Illini.
Bruce Weber told us yesterday he was a little bit concerned with how well his team attacks zone defense. Did a pretty good job in there and get the second shot opportunity. You're always going to be weaker on the defensive board when you're playing zone.
Underneath the foul. Interior passing, trying to get it to Augustine, knocked away by Field Williams. And we remind you on Wednesday, special night, Survivor. They don't know the camera's running. What are we going to see? Survivor All-Stars. Wednesday at 8/7 Central on CBS, America's most watched network. Basket by Roger Powell on the inbounds pass. And the Illini back up by 18. 64% shooting for the men in orange. Not that bad for Cincinnati, 48%. Another turnover, and D. Brown gets it to Luther Head. Augustine draws that double team again.
Yeah, every time he puts it on the floor, especially. But Cincinnati's defense much more aggressive, even though they're in that zone defense.
Luther Head pulls up for 3. That's going to be over the back on Powell. His second. And with it a timeout to yell, but he yells with love. 15 assists and 2 turnovers. Impeccable play by Bruce Weber's Illini.
Tony Bobbitt as the point guard right now. Bob Huggins trying to find somebody that can get them into some kind of smooth offense.
And bringing himself for an easy 2 is Eric Hicks. He has 4. Somebody lost their man on that play.
Wise play, posting up Armin Kirkland at 6'7", taking one of the guards down low and forcing Illinois to double team.
Mississippi State lost today. They were 2 and Maryland 4. USA with 3 teams left. Big Ten with a couple.
And Bruce Weber was skeptical of Conference USA. 6 teams getting in the tournament. He pointed out during the season, his own team, Illinois, beat Memphis. Michigan State beat DePaul. Wisconsin beat Marquette. And Iowa over Louisville. I don't think Bruce Weber was saying maybe that the Big Ten should have had any more than 3 teams, but he said, hey, we can compete with Conference USA to be sure. He's proving it today.
Yeah, that was material on the bulletin board for his team to read to assure them that they shouldn't be cowed by Cincinnati's success. And look at Memphis. They're down 20 to Oklahoma State. Eddie Sutton's Oklahoma State team, a fabulous ball club that few of us know much about. Turnover by Bobbitt. 5.5 minutes into the second half. The Duke Blue Devils, #1, await the winner of this game. Augustine unable to hit the left-hander, and two big guys hit the deck. They're still entangled. Powell and
Armin Kirkland.
they can't disengage. Field Williams can't hit the three. Back out to Bobbitt for three, and he is on the money.
And Tony Bobbitt is hurt, limping back. Whether he pulled a muscle or not, I don't know, but he is in a lot of pain or a cramp.
Down to a 13-point lead. Augustine inside will score, and he is fouled. I believe it was Kirkland. And Tony Bobbitt, the valuable sixth man, second leading scorer for the Bearcats, and he's holding that lower right leg. Foul was on Kirkland, his first.
Tony Bobbitt coming down 4-on-4 as Kirkland and Powell all tangled up at the other end. I almost thought he grimaced before he released that shot.
Augustine unable to convert the three-point play. 3 trays for Bobbitt as he's rested on the bench. That means he's made 8 shots in this tournament, 5 the other night, all 8 from outside the arc. Valuable property. Cincinnati has to hope he can return. Good offensive rebound, and the slam inside. Eric Hicks, he has 6.
Eric Hicks and Jason Maxiell could do a lot of damage on the offensive board if Cincinnati can get a high percentage shot to begin with.
Once down by 24. They've cut into that lead. It's 13, and Augustine left alone. He got inside Hicks.
James Augustine continues to do a terrific job off the ball.
Quick off his feet, isn't it?
Yeah,
for 6'10".
Yeah, sometimes it looks like it's going to be a little bit awkward, but he generally gathers himself at the last second to make a nice soft finish.
Field Williams works his way open for 3, and the rebound one-handed by Head. Long pass to Brown. Brown scores. He was on the throwing end as a high school quarterback, but he said, I can play wide receiver. Caught that one in stride. A perfect throw from Head.
No hesitation at all from Luther Head. He knew he had a couple of teammates flying out of there. Caught, turned, fired.
Twelve and a half minutes to go here in Columbus. Field Williams for 3. He now has 11.
And he can get hot in a hurry from downtown. He was 5 for 13 the other night in threes, and they needed him.
8 minutes into the second half. Roger Powell raises for a 13-footer, and it's 65-49. Powell with 12. Good balance scoring, as has been the case all season long for the Illini. Going to call time, Bob Huggins, to get his 2 reserves in and to do a bit of scolding along the Cincinnati sideline. 65-49, Illinois.
Will my car be ready this afternoon like you promised?
Yes.
Will you use a bunch of lingo I won't understand?
No.
Will you try to sell me something I really don't need?
No.
Do you like Broadway show tunes?
No.
I'm sure Maddie's played with words, Dick.
All right, that's good news for Cincinnati fans. Thank you, Leslie. Dick Enberg, Matt Gukas here at center court at the Nationwide Arena. The winner of this game advances to the Sweet 16 and a date with the Duke Blue Devils. That game to be played in the Georgia Dome next Friday night. 65-49, the balance of Illinois. 20 Williams, Powell and Brown with 12, Augustine with 11, Williams 11, Bobbitt 11, and Maxiell 11, the Cincinnati top scorer. Here's Maxiell. He'll get 2 plus 1. Augustine whistled for the foul, his 3rd.
Jason Maxiell works so hard off the ball to get low post position, and quite frankly, that was not bad defense at all by James Augustine. Tried to battle it and tried to go straight up, but just dropped his arms ever so slightly, and Jason Maxiell is just too strong, went right through that arm guard of Augustine.
That was a free throw and almost tipped in by Kirkland of Cincinnati. And the pass goes to Rye. Out of to Cincinnati. 11.5 minutes left in the second half. Illinois' big lead at 24 now rests at 14 over the 15 to lead the Cincinnati Bearcats, and it has been a eye-popping show by the Illini.
So far, Dick, but Illinois' defensive pressure is starting to subside a little bit, and consequently Cincinnati is getting better shots at the basket, and when they are missing, they're really getting busy on their offensive board right now.
24-point lead, the biggest for the Illini late in the first half. It was 16 at the intermission, and now down to 14. Cincinnati with the ball. Kirkland with a shorter Luther Head guarding him. Nice entry pass, and Maxiell can't hit the fall away, but Head can't save it for Illinois, so Cincinnati gets another chance.
And Jason Maxiell just absolutely frustrated with himself that time off the good feed inside. Normally Maxiell can power off both legs and dunk that ball. Post up inside again for Kirkland.
Field Williams unable to hit, and Smith rebounds, and a scraping foul by one of the passing Bearcats. Make sure you vote, fans, for your starting forwards on the Pontiac all-time tournament team. You can cast your ballot now at ncaasports.com/Pontiac. Foul against Tony Bobbitt, his second.
Bob Huggins just got off his feet pretty well to get his team to get up and pressure here in this 2-2-1 trap.
Head beats Powell, but it's taken away from Powell. Here comes Bobbitt the other way. Stops for the three. Maxiell the offensive rebound. Starting to show their height and power on the offensive board, the Bearcats. Kirkland, nice pass to Williams on the cut. It's 65-53, down to a dozen.
Plenty of good shots if you can take your man off the dribble, get into the lane, and then draw the next wave of defense. That's where Illinois is vulnerable.
The voices of hope from the Cincinnati faithful as Williams sets up Brown. Two-point guards, Williams and Brown, came in as freshmen, now sophomores. They complement each other so well. Some thought it would be a problem. Williams is a problem for the Cincinnati defense.
Cincinnati going back to their man-to-man defense. Bobbitt's trying to get physical with Deron Williams, and he is equal to the task. He's not going to say much. He's just going to play basketball. He beat Bobbitt off that baseline screen.
No whistle on Kirkland. Maxiell slams it down.
Yeah, there's that power dunk inside, right over Deron Williams and company.
Maxiell with 15 to lead the Bearcats. Head tempted to take the three. Smith from the side rattles around, touched all the iron, and Smith has his first bucket.
Good patience by D. Brown, who you would think might have the sense with things starting to go the other way to try to take over himself, making the extra pass and getting Nick Smith involved.
Williams out on Bobbitt. Tough defensive guard is Deron Williams, as well as a prolific scorer. We saw that first half. Down to 9 on the shot clock. Kirkland makes his move. Bobbitt stops with 4 and hits. A 2-point play for Bobbitt.
Nick, I've been watching off the ball. Roger Powell and Jason Maxiell are absolutely going to war with one another. Terrific off the ball defense by Roger Powell, working against a tough offensive player, Jason Maxiell.
Bobbitt is bumped again and limps off. Apparently aggravated that injury, whatever it is, as he came down after the shot. Only
now they're grabbing the left leg. It was the right leg the first time it happened. Now the left leg.
Nick Williams, the junior from Arlington, and one of 5 Texans on the Cincinnati roster. It's a Lone Star influence on the Bearcat team.
There's a Texan, Deron Williams, out of Dallas, Texas. There's a whole bunch of those guys right. Basketball. Good one.
Illinois has 3 too. That's right. 3 starters, 3 teams. Powell inside, and will it count? Yes. Even though it was knocked in by a Cincinnati player. Could have been goaltending by the Bearcats, but in essence, the ball, I think, was going to spin out had he not touched it. Let's see.
Well, Eric Hicks coming over at the last second, clearly a goaltend. Here's that hand right there with the ball over the rim. Easy call for the officials, plus Powell going to the free throw line.
He is able to have just enough forward spin on it to complete the three-point play. 15 for Powell. 72-57. Illinois builds its lead back up to 15, approaching the 8-minute mark remaining. Williams got caught in midair, but gets it off and a foul is called. Leslie?
Dick, just a quick update on Bobbitt. It appears to be just a cramp, which they are treating. Coach Huggins showed his concern. He walked down to him and said, and don't chase baseline screens. Dick.
Tender loving care.
How about Leslie? Just a cramp.
Jack Ingram's committed the foul. He's in, the junior from San Antonio, another Texan for the Illini.
No question. Cramps are not life-threatening, but they're hard to run with. How about Eric Hicks the other night? 14 points, 8 rebounds, and a couple of blocks. And Bob Huggins said yesterday, how about a guy can't shoot, pass, or dribble, but somehow or other get the job done? And that is the case with Eric Hicks.
It's tough to get some rare praise, but all of his players, they call him Hugs. They say he makes us laugh at practice. He works us hard, and we just know that he likes to scream, and that just means he likes us. He cares about it. Ingram to Powell. Nice play over a taller man, Kirkland, as he uses the glass. 17 for Roger Powell.
We're talking about a guy that gets a lot of things done. Roger Powell. What a versatile forward he is. Big or small, tough defender, sticks his nose in there quietly, goes about his job very effectively.
Batted away by Powell. Here come the Illini. They've made 2 out of 3 shot attempts in the game, 67%. Deron Williams, you want me to take the 3? Okay. He said, I wanted to pass it. If you don't want to guard me, I'll just take it.
Well, he has cooled off compared to the way he was in the first half when he made all.
Illinois, 34% of the season, which is solid from three-point range. 10 out of 18 today, 6 of 8 for that man, Deron Williams.
You know, it'd be easy to fault the Cincinnati defense, obviously, when a team is drilling you like that from beyond the arc, but it's more the ball movement of Illinois. They're just moving the ball crisply, and I don't care how good the defense is, you just can't get out there.
Close to a back-court violation by White. 24 assists for the Illini. Any coach has to love that number. That means you are sharing the ball, working it, foul away from that pass. And a holding call against Luther Head, his second. With that comes a timeout. We're just under 7 minutes.
30 seconds left in Milwaukee. Let's listen in.
And if you're aggressive, you'll normally get that whistle.
Boston College has led for a total of 2 minutes and
34 seconds remaining here in Columbus, and Illinois maintaining that large lead, 79-61, inspired in part by Deron Williams, 25 points, the sophomore from the Colony, Texas High School in the Dallas area, where his teammate was Bracy Wright of Indiana. What a ball club that had to be. The Scholastic ranks in Texas. Derek Hicks, James White out for Cincinnati. Nick Smith given a rest by Bruce Weber. 19-point lead. Now to Greg.
25 seconds to play in Milwaukee.
No let up in the attack by Illinois. 20-point lead. 4:45 left against the Bearcats of Cincinnati. 64% shooting by the Illini.
And these starters for Illinois out on the floor look very tired right now, but Bruce Weber doesn't want to take a chance.
Good feed inside to Powell. Greg in New York. Thank you, Greg. So the Yellow Jackets advance, and here's Illinois about to do the same. Luther Head can't bring it in. 3.5 minutes to go. Bobbitt for 3. Here come the Illini, 3-on-2. Pressure on, and it's Williams foul. Back to Greg Gumbel. At the line, Deron Williams, and he now has 28 points for the sophomore. Played sensationally. It's only 3 under his career high at Illinois. We're going to go back to that Georgia Tech BC finish. We took a quick look and thought that that was the final. Obviously, it was not. The Yellow Jackets in the lead in the final seconds.
Well, look at James Augustine and Roger Powell bent over. They are absolutely exhausted, as is Luther Head. These players have really worked extremely hard, and they need a breather right now.
Williams now with 29 points and a half minutes to go. The winner plays Duke. That would appear to be Illinois, unless there's something, a miracle in Huggins' attaché case. Chad Moore now, #1 in the game. And that's a travel on Kareem Johnson. Scoring leaders, Deron Williams 29, Roger Powell chips in with 19, and D. Brown with 14 for Illinois. Maxiel and Bobbitt 15 each, the leaders for Cincinnati.
Bob Huggins fully expected this kind of defense from Illinois. No way could he have expected them to shoot the ball as brilliantly as they have from beyond the arc. And I think he's got to be a little disappointed in his team, and then they didn't execute better offensively. At least getting the ball in an attack mode toward the basket. They played well, almost like they were back on their heels, and a lot of that had to do with Illinois defense.
25 assists for Illinois and only 4 turnovers. D. Brown now with 6 on the clock. Powell says, hey, why don't I hit a 3? And that gives him 22. That's only 2 under his career best. A remarkable display of shooting against one of the highly regarded defensive teams in the entire nation.
Well, so much of the time, Dick, they've had to play zone defense because they just got killed man-to-man.
Kareem Johnson left alone. And an easy 2 for him.
And when you're playing that zone defense and any kind of good ball movement, it's going to create wide open shots. And Illinois has been in rhythm all game long.
66% shooting by Illinois. Using some clock, we're under 2 to go. They're going to be humming Georgia in Atlanta. The next date in Duke, as it's knocked away by Kareem Johnson. 7 seconds, and see if they're going to call a foul on Johnson there. Apparently they are. Let's check the CBS Sports Line stat of the game. And Bruce Weber'd like to announce that one. Season 46% shooting. Good. Best scoring team in the Big Ten. 66% today, and a 90-65 lead. And Bruce Weber's going to give his reserves a chance to play. Were they ever ready to go on this Sunday in Columbus?
Well, Bruce Weber wanted to first make sure that his team was ready physically from the standpoint that they would not get bullied by Cincinnati, and also mentally not to get caught up in a lot of the talking back and forth. For whether or not that had anything to do with the performance of Illinois, I only will know after the game. But his team came out ready, and terrific guard play by D. Brown, this man, Deron Williams, and Luther Head. They were just absolutely as efficient as you can be.
So now Williams will go on. What a star performance for him. Matches his career high 31, 7 assists. He shot 10 for 13 from the floor, and he was almost perfect from long range. 3-point shot, 6 for 8. Driving into the lane, and somebody reached in and held Chad Moore.
I think we always talk about the importance of guard play in the NCAA tournament, and when you have 2-point guards that play off each other so well in D. Brown and Deron Williams, what an advantage that is. And throw Luther Head into the mix. He's a guy I thought played a very solid floor game, didn't force anything, kept the ball moving nicely.
Field, Williams can't hit, and out of the back. 42 with a rebound, Brian Randall. Terrence Howard, number 25, is in the game. That's Aaron Spears off the mark. Illinois, it's interesting, they've won 22 times in the tournament but never beat a higher seed. Well, that's going to end today. Another statistical number they're working against. A number 5 seed has never won the national championship. Illinois is trying to change that. They'll be down to the final 16 in less than a minute. This is Howard, the delightful senior, the only senior on the Illinois team. That bodes well for the future of Illini fans, and wants to be a coach. He's the spirit of the team. Though he doesn't play much, he's one of those guys that are invaluable. Long range bomb by Field Williams.
Getting back to that 5 seed thing, Dick, I think Bruce Weber will turn that around and tell his team, hey, we should have been a 5 seed. We're a much better team than that, winning their first Big Ten title outright in 52 years.
And no argument there from what we've seen. It's down to 15 seconds. It's going to be the biggest loss suffered by Cincinnati in their NCAA tournament history. Chance for the Illinois fans to stand and cheer. They're headed for Atlanta and the Duke Blue Devils in the round of 16. Bruce Weber's team wins it 92-68. Led by Deron Williams, matching his career high with 31. Roger Powell with 22. 26 assists and only 4 turnovers. Just an absolutely impeccable